Welcome to the Bivoc. This is the game of loose ends. Your goal in this game is to have the most amount of points when the game is over. To set up this game, you're going to flip all of your dominoes face down. No player is going to start with any dominoes on their board. The first thing you will do in every round is establish who's going to be the first seat. The first seat is always the player who, when you pass this step, has the fewest amount of points. Of course, at the start of the game, everybody has the fewest amount of points, so you just pick somebody to go first. This player is going to go first right here, and we're going to play a 4-player game in this example. After you move the first seat, you're going to give gifts to the other players. Second seat, who is the player immediately to the left of the first seat, gets 1 free point. Then the next player in the third seat gets 2 points for free, just for being there. Same thing with the fourth seat, except they get 3. And if you have a fifth seat, they will have 4 extra free points. Going last in this game is very, it's bad. You have less choices, and so you get a little bit of points in compensation. After you give gifts, which you do every round, you're going to then set up your store. You're going to flip 5 dominoes face up, or up to the 5 that is there. The first player in the first seat will then go first, and they must take one and only one of the dominoes in the store. And they'll also collect any points attached to it if there are any points attached to it. We'll see how that can happen later. They will take it and put it on their board. Then, out of the remaining 4, the next player will go, and the next player will go, and the next player will go, and there'll be 1 left. There's always 1 left because you set up in the setup store step 1 more than the number of players. This one that is left gets some points attached to it called fermenting. If there are no points currently attached to it, you add 2 points to it. If there already are some points attached to it, you double what's there. So in this case 4, and if it lasted again, you do 8, and so on and so forth. But usually it gets claimed by the 2 or 4 point mark. Whenever you take a domino, say we set a new set and I'm still the first seat, and the first seat hasn't moved because this player still has the lowest amount of points. Okay? In the next set of dominoes, I get this 10. I now have 2 dominoes in front of me that have the same exposed end. And so I must bring them together and bond them. Okay? Whenever you bond 2 together, you get the number shown on the bond. So in this case, I would get 10 points for bonding 2 10s. 10 points. Okay? If I can do that, I must do that. However, if I cannot physically touch the 2 together, for instance, say I picked up and I had these 3 dominoes. I can connect the 2 to the 2 and the 5 to the 5, but if I want to connect the 6 to the 6, I gotta do something really goofy to connect them. They have to touch flat faces, and they can't touch more than one number on a face. So for instance, I cannot do this or that, okay, because that's the same domino is touching 2 faces. This is an illegal bond right there. So since I can't do that, these are left exposed as exposed ends, and you can bond on these separately. After bonding and you fermented your next one, you set up a new store. Again, you build up to 5. So let's say we claimed another one. I bonded that one. He just took the 12-5. He just took the 12-8. He just took the 4-1. That's a bad choice. Okay? Then we'll set up an even new store. All right? And this one, since it was left over, we double the points that were under it. But now, if you remember, I had 10 points, and I forgot the gifts in the last stage, so he should be at 2, he should be at 4, and he should be at 6. Okay? I have 10 points now, so I am no longer the person with the fewest points. It is actually player 2. So now, player 2 is the first seat for this new store right here. Okay, and he will get to decide, and I'm last seat because I'm behind him. So in this one, he would get nothing, he would get 1 point, he would get 2 points, and I would get 3 points. Okay? You keep going like this until you get to a point where you don't have enough dominoes left in the pile of dominoes to make a full store in the next round. So like this, in this case, I only have 3 dominoes left in the pile. What you do then is in the next to last, or now last, store, you just add them to it. So we'll have one large store to close it all out. Everybody will still only take 1 domino, okay? And the remaining dominoes are instead just discarded away. After that, you will enter into the scoring phase. When you score, you're going to add up all of the different bonding scores that you got for bonding dominoes, the gifts that you got, as well as any bonuses. And there's one way you can get a bonus in this game. Actually, 2 ways you can get a bonus. After you score that, and I'll explain those bonuses later, you're going to then subtract from your score 1 point for every exposed end that you have. So let's say I ended the board with something that looked a little bit like this, okay? I would lose at the end of the game 18 points for leaving a 7 and 11 exposed. So I would lose 11 points for the 11 exposed and 7 points for the 7 exposed. These are called your loose ends. And you're trying to avoid them, and that's how the title of the game comes across. After you tally up your gifts, your bonds, and your bonuses, as well as your subtraction from your loose ends, whoever has the most points will be the winner. Now let's see how you can get some bonuses. The first way you can get a bonus is by completing a set. You get to the position where, let's say I had this on my board, and this was the only thing I had on my board. Okay? So right now I have a 10 and 11 exposed. And I decided to draw this 10, 11. I would get 10 points for bonding the 10, 11 points for bonding the 11, so that's 21 points right there. It's already really good. And because I no longer have any exposed ends or loose ends on my board, I get a free 20 points for doing so. So 20, I would get 41 points on this one turn. That's a really big turn. Now, I still have to keep playing, and I would have to basically set up a whole new place, and I can't unbond stuff at any point. But if you ever get to the position where you basically complete your board, you get 20 points for doing that. That's one way to get a bonus. The second way to get a bonus in this game is by completing a double. Doubles work a little bit differently in this game. So doubles have 4 ends to them, which will be shown here. So they have 2 there and 2 there. So basically a double has 4 loose ends attached to it. You will get 1 point for bonding on each one of these ends. So 1 point here, 1 point there, 1 point here, 1 point here, which gets me a total of 4 points from bonding. But if I manage to complete a double, I get 4 times in addition to this bonding score, so I get 1 point, plus the bonding, the completion bonus of completing the double, which is 4 for the 1, because it's this number shown times 4. So 4 for that one. If I completed a double 3, it would be 12 points. And that is the doubles. Now keep in mind, you have 4 exposed ends. So if you went to the end of the game with something like this, you would get a loss of 1 point because you technically have an exposed end right there. That is the entirety of loose ends. Good luck.